songs today. All right, we are now at the Tuesday Rotary Show. Please stand for a round of Burns.
Here, folks. Next to it here and there. I love Spring Eternal. I chose a song here on page 6, middle of page 6. Beautiful Dream. Oh, that's a folk ballad, sentimental song written by Stephen, and it was published in 1864 after his death. And some folks believe it's the last song that he wrote. At any rate, it's really a song that tells of a lover serenading a beautiful dreamer who doesn't have a care. So, in that spirit, let's look ahead to the song here. Beautiful Dreamer, okay? Beautiful dreamer, come to me. Star who cross our way. Sounds of you. Oh, I have all passed away. Beautiful dream. I saw. With fond melody. I sleep. Beautiful dreamer. To me. Beautiful dreamer. Bring on to me.
And now the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic. Now, if you please join in prayer and meditation as you choose, as I say, bless this food we are use and bless the eye service. Ladies and gentlemen, the buffet is now open.
That's first. Get up there, Charlie.
Yeah, but you're.
To begin by welcoming Tina, who is here online and not to be overlooked, and hello from all of us. Do we have any guests today?
Other than Charlie?
Other than Ralph Dot? No, I'm teasing. Okay, and we have our new member, Bill Baggett. Did we ever give you? Oh, okay, great.
No. You don't have a stem.
Yeah,
Yeah, yes.
Right. Well, then I think we need to begin by welcoming Mr. Baggett to the club. So, officially. And step forward. It is my pleasure to welcome you officially as a member. This is your pin.
Okay.
They come in many shapes and sizes, but I urge you to wear something that says Rotary other than your badge, because we ask. Oh, and you do.
Paul doesn't remember.
Different colors too, so.
There you go. So then,
That's different.
all right, thank you, Bill. Glad you're here. All right, let's move on to other happy things. happy dollars? Do we have anyone who'd like to put? Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Hay.
I have to stand up for this. 20 happy dollars because I called Reggie last night and Jackie was sitting there with me. No answer. And I've been last report was not a good report. Well, this morning on my answering machine, Reggie called and left a message. Thanked us for calling. He sounded much stronger and he said he was more comfortable because he reported that he was in pain last time.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that
It's treatment.
things are coming back. And so,
That's
you know,
encouraging.
Paul gave us a pretty negative report last time, and I
Okay.
guess I did too. But I'm just so happy that he seems to be on the way back.
Very good. All right.
I last talked to him about a week ago, and he told me that his pain was better controlled, that he was on a better pain regimen. So, you know.
That's important.
So please continue to keep him in your prayers. And if you have time, pick up the phone, give him a call because
Or send him a text.
or send him a text because I think he does enjoy hearing. Very good. Well, other happy dollars. Anyone else? Mr. Vernon.
I've got, combine two things. I've got an announcement that I was asked to make to, and everybody knows I've been involved in Christian school a long time. Today is Give Local 757. It's not just for the Christian school. We love your support. It's for Habitat. It's for all kinds of good charities. It's really easy to go online and make a donation. So Give Local 757, and you can give $10, or I'm going to give 5,000. You just don't even need to go. But I think it says unfair. And that's what it is. I have 20 happy dollars because I was able to win my division in the 5K. And thankfully, I had Bill Payne and Dr. Strong behind me, way behind me. And two other old guys from Western. Got a special prize. I got a bedpan and some pen. And we give them a call on the bill. Nice breakfast.
$5 happy dollars because last Friday, took some friends and a kayak and a canoe out to pay our respects to the whale. And I'm gonna do this again. I took some cell phone pictures. And if I had my cell phone with me, I could show you, but that's not here. But anyway, if somebody wants to go out there and has access to a kayak or a canoe, let me know. We haven't picked the date yet, but we're gonna look for one and when the tide is right.
I pay your respects to Terry.
We prayed this.
And I'm still.
Who else? All right, I'm gonna put $10 in because my daughter successfully married a wonderful Hindu guy, and I actually have 3 photos that I would love for everyone to see. This is my daughter as the Hindu bride, as she was all made up and in her outfit for the Hindu. Whoops, sorry, for the Hindu ceremony. By the way, this thing started a week ago Sunday. We had Monday, Tuesday off. Then Wednesday we had ceremony which was anointing with turmeric and then tattoo. They henna tattoos that last for about a month. And then Thursday we drove from DC to Cambridge to the Hyatt. We had 3 rehearsals, one for the Christian ceremony, one for the Hindu ceremony, one for all of the dances that had begun for one of the parties. Friday was Christian ceremony, and then this cute, which is the Sangeet, which is the best party of all, and it's just a lot of choreographed dances, and then kind of this just big free-for-all dance. And then that was followed on Saturday by the Hindu ceremony and the main reception. And I'm exhausted just describing. So thank you.
If I played 10 happy dollars, we could do one of the.
If I'm
That's
not.
we started with this little thing. Then we did what they called the wash. And and then there was a part to La Vida, the music changed, and there was a portion to La Vida Loca. And so, you know, they were doing one of these things.
Hey, make it 3 times and stop.
$10 right there. Okay. The things I do for charity. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay. I would like to move, let's see, we have some announcements. Mr. Strand, for one.
Hey, just come on.
Didn't win.
Yeah, you didn't win yet.
So, a very special presentation. So Katie is our newest Paul Harris Scholar.
Oh, we need, yeah, there we go. Hey, right.
And this is your pin.
I'm the hard way. You guys gave one to my husband.
Please come forward. So Mark has been contributing a long time, and he is now getting his Paul Harris +8.
Whoa. Neon lights.
So he's got 3 rubies in it. So just want to let you know that the next step is major donor can't use gift points.
No.
Can't use gift points. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Very well, very good. All right, Jackie, you had an announcement you wanted to make.
Yes, the only way I get to say something around here is when we. Okay, this is about the social event that we're having. It will be on Saturday, May 6th, from 5 to 8 p.m. here. We will have heavy appetizers or hors d'oeuvres. And it will consist of 3 different stands, one with cheese and fruit. We'll have steamed shrimp, and we will have chicken sliders. We also will have vegetarian spring rolls and sausage and cheese stuffed button mushrooms passed around, and a dessert, key lime pie.
Ooh.
And of course, you know that there will be a cash bar. There will be up to 3 beers of choice on draft, and all canned beers will be available. Sodas in the form of Coke, Diet Coke, and Sprite will be available, and a variety of house wine. Water and tea will be free. I'm sure you're happy about that. So there will be a fee of $40 for each guest. And we have we have 34 people who have agreed to attend.
Oh,
Members and their guests.
Are you the bookie?
No, Ken Roberts is the bookie,
Okay,
but
got it.
we're not taking bets, you know.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
You better have the sheets too.
Is there a deadline for signing up?
No.
Thank you for
All right.
finally answering my question.
brings us to our program. And it is my,
Whoa.
I was gonna do that after.
Oh.
So no one, oh, it looks like Bill is gonna pass out. If I'm sorry, we're gonna do cleanup heart. All right. Who has the highest this, who at this table?
Yeah,
Who has cards? Who has cards? Yeah. I got clubs.
It's a heart. It's a heart.
He's got two. And the ace of diamonds.
Oh, Jackie's got the spade.
Oh, you got the spade.
No. Yeah.
That's
How many times you gonna use that card?
Has a gentleman ever won this before?
He's got this here. Oh, ace of spades.
Money. It's all $30. I got a pick.
$30.
Count
Yes.
Give her $2.
All right, so 15 goes to the club.
You have to
Jackie,
keep that deck down this side.
Jackie, 8. I'll have to get you.
There you go, that's right, 8. 8 out of 15.
And
Give it back.
we have. There's no hair there.
I got the same problem.
So I think we've got what, $107 or we got over 100, 117 maybe. Anyway, in the pot. And if Jackie gets the Queen of Hearts,
There's gonna be an investigation.
Oh.
It's always been the 8.
Good luck, Jack.
Thank you, Bill. If you pull
See,
the ace of
what you got?
spades. Oh, ace of spades. I can see a king of spades.
no luck.
Turn up.
All right, so you get $8.
Bravo. All right, now, it's my pleasure to turn the floor over to our county administrator, Charlie Kolakowski.
Thanks again to everybody for inviting me again. It was a pleasure to come down here. Bill, thanks for trying to leapfrog me ahead of everybody else to get me here at last minute notice. But
Thank you.
so post-COVID, Northampton County is doing pretty well. We handled, I think, the pandemic fairly smoothly. We were somewhat able to dodge a lot of the problems that happened. I think largely because we have a different economy than other areas, maybe a little bit diversified and maybe focusing on some sectors that weren't really affected. Frankly, I think our tourism industry actually benefited because people couldn't fly. So they were able to drive here. So I think we were able to attract a whole new group of people to come here. And it seems like half of them are trying to buy houses here. But so that seems to be one of the areas that is leveling off, but still remains strong is the sales of housing and the construction of housing. Building starts are continuing, even with interest rates going up, and we're happy to see that. One of the issues we're facing is the type of houses being built, but I'll get that to that a little bit later. One of the major projects we had in the past year was the bid for the high school, middle school rehabilitation project, which unfortunately did not go well. It came in about $25 million over budget. Really walloped us, surprised us. It was a lot more than anyone had anticipated, and obviously we felt that the county could not do it. So we went back to the drawing boards. We're making some modifications to the package. In the interim, the state has also rolled out a grant program for school construction and rehabilitation. It looks like Northampton County may be eligible for a grant up to 20% of the cost. So for a $80 million school, which is, you know, in the area where the bid came in, that'd be a $16 million grant, bringing the cost down to about 64 million. Still high, but in the area where you can start working on it and try and do something. So that's a pretty big game changer. We'll find out about that grant application sometime this summer, late June, early July, we're hoping. And we're going to be looking to see how we're going to handle whether we're going to go out to bid before or after we find out about the grant. But that's a significant impact on the decision making. It's not a matter of doing something or doing nothing. We need to do something, but we also do need to make sure we keep the cost affordable. Every dollar we spend on rehabilitating the school is a dollar we can't spend on staffing and programming for the school. And that's also an issue that we're facing here in the country. The ability to is the ability to provide good staffing and maintain, attract, and retain staffing in the schools and throughout the county, for that matter. But that's one of the primary motivations for keeping the cost of the building down, so that we're also able to afford to provide good wages and benefits for our staffing in the school. Another major issue facing the county, and it's been for several years, is housing needs, in particular in the mid to lower income range. A lot of houses being built, $400,000, $500,000, $800,000. Well, guess what? That's not where teachers, people who are working in the restaurant, people who are working in businesses are able to afford. And that's the segment that we have been struggling to get filled. We're looking at a number of different programs to encourage that. We are starting to see some houses being proposed in a more affordable fashion, but that affordable fashion is a new level. The days of $100 a square foot for housing are long gone. We've leapfrogged that up to $200 a square foot plus when you're talking about construction costs these days. So 1,000 square foot house, we add in the lot and all the development costs, you're probably talking $250,000 to $300,000 being the base price, all in. So that it's a new area of saying, you know, let's not talk about a $150,000 house anymore, because I'm not really sure what you're going to get for that if you're building it new. So, but we do need to encourage people to build those houses where we can get the solid workforce housing constructed. Looking at a number of different proposals throughout the county. Last year we did a study on the towns and the counties to try and identify code issues which were barriers to affordable housing. And we are working with a number of developers on different projects and different proposals throughout the county. I know here in Cape Charles, they're in discussions with a developer to put up what they're categorizing as workforce housing on the outskirts of town. In Exmoor, ANPDC, and New Roads we're doing some housing. They put up 10 units within the past year, and there's a proposal to do 12 more duplex units in Exmoor, just on the other side of Route 13. So there are some efforts going forward. There's a CDBG, Community Development Block Grant project, which is being kicked off in the town of Cheriton in the Holland Avenue neighborhood, which we hope will see some redevelopment in that area. And there's also a proposal to do about 6 to 8 duplexes in the Wilson Court housing development in Cheriton, which is what they categorize as a low-income housing development, But if you drove through it, all the stereotypes you have of low-income housing would leave your head. Because it's a pretty little neighborhood, and they're talking about expanding the opportunities and number of housing in there. So I think that's a really positive step for, again, another segment of the housing needs for the county. Along with the rest of the state, we're waiting on the state budget approval to see what impact we have on our schools and on our county budget. We are very dependent upon the state budget for the schools. Ironically, if they spend less, it's going to cost us more because it's going to cut out certain programs that are partially funded by the state now that we would have to pick up totally if they don't approve the budget as they introduced it in the state, in the Senate and the Assembly. So we're anxiously awaiting them to do their jobs, get back to Richmond and adopt the budgets that they propose. We're hoping that will happen, but we're hearing that politics is playing a huge role this year because of the contested primaries throughout the state, and that the number of very influential budget people who are looking to wait till the primaries are over before they approve the budget. Unfortunately, that's at the end of June. So that's the effect it has on localities, and we're held up on different projects. And I really feel for the schools because here they are not knowing what kind of salaries they're going to be able to offer, how much money they're going to have to offer staff, and they're trying to hire people now. So what do they offer? What kind of contracts do they put in front of the teachers? And they don't know how much money they're going to have to support it and where they're going to be going in the year. I don't know that they really realize the impact it has on localities and on school districts when they hold off adopting the budget like they do. Another big development in the past year that is in Accomack County is the expansion and the growth in the Wallops space program. This is a huge opportunity, I think, for the whole Eastern Shore, certainly for Accomack. They made a huge effort and it will directly impact them. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for Northampton County to tap into that. We're already seeing anecdotal instances of people looking for housing here. And there are business opportunities for people to take advantage of what's happening there. It's not that long a commute. You know, it's maybe a long distance, but compared to over on the other side of the bay, when we talk about 40 miles over there, that might be 2.5 hours. You know, so there's a good opportunity, I think, for Northampton County to take advantage of the good work being done up in Accomack. We made a effort last year to apply for an electric school bus program that was rolled out by the federal government. Unfortunately, we weren't successful. There was massive oversubscription of the grant, so not everyone could get it. But it's rolling out again, and we're going to be making another effort to try and get some electric school buses. This would be totally paid for, and at least start the effort to electrify and use it as a pilot program to try and see how they work in this county. Different issues with electric versus gas versus diesel, but it's coming. So we're looking at this as an opportunity to break into the usage of electric vehicles, find out how they work, how they're maintained, what infrastructure you need for the electric grid, and what kind of on-site infrastructure you need. So we're looking forward to that. We're working with a number of different providers, including ANEC, on providing increased access for electric chargers for personal use. Trying to find out and identify locations where electric chargers can go inside your house, but also different locations throughout the county where electric chargers would make sense. It's a small but growing segment of the electric use. I think it's got real benefits for tourism program. People who are looking to go somewhere, if they have an electric car, that's their primary thing. First thing they got to look for is where's my charger at my destination. We don't have chargers here in the county people with electric cars are not going to be looking to visit here. They'll go elsewhere because we have to provide those opportunities for them. And it's a segment that, again, this is growing, and right now it's an affluent segment. So it's something which we should be looking to do. And we're working with at least 2 companies to try and locate bases for those chargers to go. Overall, the county is facing, like with everybody else, difficulty in hiring and staffing and keeping and retaining employees. It's a new dynamic for employees and for getting people, what you have to offer, work conditions, whether people want to work remotely, whether people want to be hybrid, how they want to do it. It's a different world than what most of us grew up in. And so we're facing that along with everybody else. It's amazing. You talk to different localities who are looking at 25% vacancy rates in their overall employment. It's just really incredible, and it hits every level. So that's something that we're really facing. Broadband. Right now, the Broadband Authority is completing the work on Virginia grant that we received to expand broadband throughout the Eastern Shore. Northampton's benefiting a little bit more right now on this one because we had less success on a previous grant, ironically. So Accomack County had gotten a grant 5 years ago with which benefited Newbeam, and they expanded service in Accomack. Well, that made that segment of Accomack County ineligible for this grant. This came out, which is actually going to enable Northampton County to get a significant part of the county wired up with fiber optic. And so we'll have a higher percentage at the end of the first round of this VATI. We have applied for a second round of VATI. We're still waiting to hear about that. But that will overlap the areas up in Accomack County that changed the rules. And so Accomack County will benefit to the same extent that Northampton will. And if we're successful with that grant, both counties will be substantially built out with fiber optic, either through the Broadband Authority or private companies such as Spectrum and others, which puts us at least 5 to 10 years ahead of what the schedule had been even just 5 years ago. The amount of money flowing through to expand broadband has changed that dynamic, and that schedule is so incredible. So very important service for our county and Accomack County on the entire shore. So that's some good news there. The county will continue to use brownfield funds to assist in the redevelopment of various buildings and properties throughout the county. The rail yard in Cape Charles, the Rosenwald School building, the old Benjamin's apartment building up in Exmoor, and a number of other properties. We've been able to fund initial studies and then also seek out remediation funds for a number of those properties to assist in the cleanup of largely asbestos, some petroleum issues, lead paint, but all working to assist in the redevelopment of those properties and those buildings, which is really important here. This has been a focus of this county, and to redevelop properties rather than try and dig up and cover farmland and forests. So this is reusing assets that are already there, redeveloping and opening them up for more productive use. We're really happy with the way that program is working, and we're looking for additional properties where we can take advantage of. That's what I got.
John, what is the status
Oh.
of the?
Oh, you're right under the bus, right?
Okay, John.
I understand, I think that Northampton County is looking to make more productive use of abandoned homes, very old homes that are in, no one even knows the owners of. What's the status of that?
Yeah, we are looking at, number one, we've been continuing the effort to tear down and or force people to take care of derelict buildings and dangerous structures. We're also looking to try and come up with a program to force people to not force people, but to encourage people to utilize abandoned structures. A lot of the structures are actually kind of in limbo because they're owned by 30 different people. Because I owned the house,
Inherited.
I passed away, and I left it to six of my children. Well, one of them passed away, they left it to 6 of their children. And one of them, and literally these properties go, and generationally, they'll be 5, 12. I've seen as many as 30 different owners in some properties because of it. They call them heirs property. And it's just, there's no way around it. You usually have 1 or 2 who pay the taxes. And then eventually unfortunately, the buildings just deteriorate because no decision can be made on what to do. Very difficult to do something with those particular buildings. But we are looking at trying to encourage people who have vacant buildings to say, fix them up, sell them, do something with them, and to try and help with the housing situation because it'd be quicker. And again, reusing what's already there rather than digging up some or covering over some productive farming.
Other question? Yes. What's the status of the Nature Conservancy's wetlands mitigation? It's not mitigation. These would be, no, they're going to sell off. Right.
It is wetlands mitigation.
Oh, it is wetlands.
It is wetlands.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That's exactly what they were doing.
Right.
Exactly what they are.
So the project is going
There,
ahead.
it's going ahead.
County said.
The county said no more. That's the operative term. Right. Moving forward, there is no more for outside county mitigation.
How about within?
It's been left open under certain circumstances, but under where it'd have to go through a special use permit and be determined by the board, whether it's desirable or not. I would imagine there might be limited circumstances where if the only way to get a certain type of development is to do off-site mitigation. There's not that many. I'm not sure how many projects would need to mitigate wetlands within this county, where it's gonna be that valuable and that important to the county to allow. We've left the door open within county. This was really just a situation of saying, why are we benefiting people in Hampton and over the bay, to say, okay, they get all this tax revenue, they get all this development, and they actually lower the value of the property over here. And we're being fought. DEQ loves that program. They tried to discourage us from stopping it. So
I did have a question. The tip to peek in, you didn't mention that when you were talking about workforce housing. Is that going to have an impact?
I would think opening up any additional housing will have some impact. How that's going to impact it, it's difficult to say. How any of this is going to impact is difficult to say. We don't have that big a market. We're 12,000 people. It's not that big a housing market. It's tough to say how many units you really need in order to start impacting the budget or impacting the market of housing and the particular needs. I know the AMPDC did a study which showed a significant need for housing here. I think anecdotally, everyone around here has heard from different people who say there's a need for housing, having just gone through a housing search over the past 3 years. And thanks to Ralph, appreciate his efforts in getting me my house last year. But he can tell you how quick things were. how quick things sold and how you had to jump on to get housing. So there's no doubt that there was a need for additional housing and to be built and to be provided. That's going to be a niche type housing. It's going to be studio apartments, which will fit the needs for some people. Certainly not going to fit the need for a family. But yes, I think that's
But a teacher.
Right. I think it's one of the elements of solving the issue, and I think that's one of the things that we're finding out, and others are finding out, is that it's not just one type of housing. It's not this is the solution. Certainly here, it's multiple types of housing in multiple areas to solve the problem.
Could you just talk for a moment about the tiny houses that are over in Sharon?
Those are short-term rental properties. Those are a unique little relic of what used to be. It's kind of a interesting, well maintained, well operated, interesting operation. Not really a solution to housing. They operate them as short-term rentals,
Or it's private?
but yeah, it's private and it's again remarkably well run. Drive by it multiple times every day. Sir.
With the cutbacks that you did on, you spoke on school, what cutbacks are you going to initiate?
Really, it's not cutbacks. It's really just changes to the way that it's being put out. For example, one of the things is if you don't specify the exact color blue you want the roof paint to be, you might save up to $40,000,
Oh,
giving them a little flexibility. I mean, that was literally the top of the list. Not specifying the brand name of the heating and air conditioning units to be put in. They're estimating that alone could save over $1.5 million. Now, that's estimates coming from the same people who gave us the estimates for what it was going to be built. So there's but those are the type of changes we're talking about. We're not talking about substantial changes at this point. Be truthful with you, if the bids keep coming in that high, and certainly if we're not successful in getting the grant, we may have to then start looking at more substantial, impactful changes. But right now, we're just looking at saying, are there some value engineering changes we can make to minor things and different ways to do it, giving a little more flexibility to the contractors to say, okay, will that help us get the cost down a little bit and make it more affordable? But so far, we're looking to keep it substantially the same as we did before.
What's the status of the rails to trails project?
This portion of the project is, I know they're trying to solidify the rest of their funding. And I believe they have that funding secured. So this portion in Cape Charles out to Route 13 should be done sometime in the next several years. Believe it or not, that's probably fast tracked by VDOT standards. They have a way of doing things, and it takes time. They think in multi-year segments, so it will probably be several years before this segment is complete. As far as the rest of it, they are looking at different sources of funding for different segments. One discussion I know that they're having is to maybe chop it up into smaller segments. One thing that the Virginia Department of Transportation, which will be an important provider, they like to see projects like this done with something at both ends. They don't want a trail to nowhere. That, okay, great. So you got there into the middle of Bird's Nest. Now what? Where are you go? Where are you starting and where are you going to? And make it something logical at both ends, so you can take advantage of people coming to that point and also to the other point. So that's one of the discussions going on now.
Right. Any further
I have a quick one.
One last question.
Where is the Bayview expansion, Bayview Collection Center expansion project on the calendar?
It is receiving, final, VDOT and DEQ approval. Because they'd had to go through every hoop and every requirement that everything else did, given the size of the, development. That's another one where the cost has escalated hugely, due to the cost and due to the requirements of the engineers and what the state and the county requires for that type of development. But that is in final approval now, and hopefully it'll be going out to bid fairly soon. I know I have a paper back at the office I saw this morning for VDOT approval.
How much larger will it be?
You know, you see the fenced in area right on
The old shark.
Bayside, the old Sharp Energy property. That's where it's going to expand.
Oh.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Much
sir.
appreciated. I made a contribution to the Literacy Council to provide copies of Meet the Great to essentially graduate from the Dolly Parton Imagination Library Program. This will be the first chapter book. One of them will have your name there.
That is all.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the Rotary pledge?
Is drowned as a bear of concerns. Will build better friendships. Will be beneficial to all concerned.
And stand number 5.
Will we have fun?
Ladies and gentlemen, go in service.
All right.
Good man.
Thank you, Robert.